Hello everyone, this is Manoj. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, we'll learn and talk about how we can perform all CRUD operations in React.js using Node.js as backend with SQL Server database. All right. So if you can see your screen, so this is our React component, and this is the list. So if I try to add any new employee, David, and let me give marketing as department. Salary 20,000. Save. So you can see employee added successfully, and these are the details. And if I try to add it, so David Mark, save. So our detail is also updated. The first name I added, and if I try to delete, so okay. So employee deleted successfully, and if I refresh again, so remaining two records are displayed. All right. So this is I have done using Node.js as backend for API creation and React.js for the UI, and for the backend I'm using my SQL Server database. All right. So in today's video we'll try to create exact same application. So we'll create a separate project for Node.js and separate application for React UI and a database. All right. So let me close this one, and let's also close all VS Code instances. Okay. So the first thing is, let's try to create a table in this database. Let's quickly create a table. So I'll go with step by step. All right. So when you try to create the same projects, you'll not have any problem. So the table name is dummy employees, employee ID, and this will be identity type. So we don't need to pass any particular value to it. It will automatically increment the IDs one by one. Let's also make it primary key. Second field will be employee name, varchar 100, and let's make it not nullable. Mobile number, varchar 15, not null. And let's also add one department, varchar 50, not null. And let's also add salary, it's 18,2 and not null. So we have a table called dummy employees, in which we have employee ID, employee name, mobile number, department, and salary column. Let's execute this one. Table created. Let's also see select star from dummy employees. Perfect. So our table is created. So we are done with the SQL part. Now let's go to any particular folder where you want to create your uh, Node.js project and React.js. All right. So here, let me create a folder called employee. Let me give it name as Node-server, and go to within this folder and open this folder in VS Code. So code space dot. So this will open this particular folder in our VS Code. And let me also go back here, and let's go back to the parent folder, and here let me quickly start our React.js project command, because to create a new React.js project, it will take some time. So meanwhile, we'll work on our API. So this project will be ready. All right. So open a command prompt from this folder, and here let's add npx create React app, and here you can give any meaningful name, whatever you want. Okay. So here let me give employee CRUD UI. All right. So this will create employee CRUD UI React.js project. Now let's move to our VS Code identity. So here, so the project, we are in the same folder. So here, open terminal, we have to install some libraries. So here in the new terminal, we have to write some command. So npm install. You can write install, or you can also write I stands for install. So npm install. The first library is express. Second one is body parser, PRSER, correct, body parser. Another one is MS SQL. I'll tell you why we are using, or why we are installing these libraries. Next one is cors, and the last one is .env. All right, so these are 5 packages. So first is express, second one is body parser, third is MS SQL, fourth is cors, and last is .NET env. So hit enter. So this will start installing these packages. So meanwhile it is installing, let me explain you something about these packages. So the first, if you see here, the let me tell you the body parser. What is this body parser? Basically it passes the incoming request bodies in the middleware. So basically uh, when it pass the incoming request, it means your body, like whatever data you are passing from your UI, whether it is Angular or whether it is your React.js, so that parse body will be available in your request.body. I'll show you when we create the API. So we use request and response, those two parameters. So after passing that data, that content will be available to our request.body. Also, it is very useful for our post, put, and patch requested. All right. And if you talk about the key features, basically it supports JSON and URL encoded parsing. All right. So that's why we use body parser. Course is, let's say, every project is our say safe and secure project. So course is nothing but is it allows who will be your audience, who will be your consumer. All right. So if you want, let's say this is our API project. All right, and you have 10 applications. So you only want to authorize those 10 applications to consume your APIs, not the entire world. All right. For that we use course. .env means it we will create a .env file. So basically what it does is, let's say in our real scenario we have multiple environments: development environment, UAT environment, pre-prod, prod. So using .env file we can create multiple environments, and we can create multiple variables. So based on your testing environment, you can use that particular file. Express is basically a web framework for building APIs in Node.js, and it basically provides routing, middleware, and so many utility functions. All right. So this is a little explanation of these libraries. Now, so we are done with the package. If you open this package.json, so we are done with this. All right. Also, let's run npm init. So now our package.json is updated. Now, next step is we have to create a .env file. All right, let me close this package.json. So here, click on this new file .env. So here we have to write some variables so that we can use those variables into our db.js file. All right. So the first thing is db underscore server, and here we have to give our database name. So database names, how you will get it? Go to your SQL Server, click on connect, and this will be your database. All right, so just copy. Let me copy this one and paste it over here. All right. Second thing is db underscore database. So what will be your database? Just whatever database you are working in, just copy that. So in my case, I'm using this database. So let me copy this one, paste. Third variable is db underscore user. Sorry, db underscore user. So in my case, it is dummy user. And next is db password, and I'll update this dummy password later on because I don't want to expose that password. And you can give your SQL password, all right. And the last thing is db port, and port is 1433. So in this .env file, we have created 5 variables. One is the database server, so I mean db server, database, user, password, and db port. All right, let's save this now. So this is our first step. Second step is we have to create a db.js file. So let's click on the new file, db.js. So here, first we have to import SQL. So const SQL is equal to require ms SQL. Okay, then require .env. If you remember, these are the packages which we added. If you see your package.json, so we have added .env and ms SQL. All right. Now we have to create our configuration. All right. So configuration for SQL Server. So let's create a constant config, and here first thing we have to create a server, and from where we will get this server. So process.env dot, go to our env file, copy this server, paste. All right, so this is our server. Second thing is database, db name. If you see, I'm getting everything from the intelligence. So we have user, and then we have password, and then we have options. All right, and in this options we have, the first thing is we have to give encrypt as false. All right, so we have to give this in. But let's say, for example, if you are using your Azure SQL, so you have to give it true. So use true for Azure SQL. All right, now another variable will be your enable earth bot. So ARITHABORT, true. This we have to give true. Enable ARITHABORT, perfect. Now next thing, we also have a port variable. So the port, and this we have to process dot env dot db port, db underscore port. Let me quickly verify. Yeah, db port is there. So db port, and we have to parse this into int, parse int, save. So we have created our config. So in this config, what we have, the first thing, we have created a server which is taking the DB server from our environment file, then database, then user, then password, and then options, and then our port number. All right. So we are done with our config. Now we have to create a pool, just to create our connection pool with the database and to export it so that we can use our connection in our upcoming APIs. All right. So here, let me also give a command, create a connection pool, export it as a promise. All right. So here, const pool promise is equal to new SQL dot connection pool, and it will require a config. So we have already created a config, so just provide config. After that, dot, it has a connect method, and after that, if this connects successfully, then here, so let's console connected to database and also return pool. But in case of any issue, so let's say database connection failed, and here, after our console statement, let's throw error also so that we can see what is the exact error it is throwing. All right, save. So we have also created our pool promise. So basically what it does, it takes this config and it tries to connect with the database based on your these details, and if it connects, then we can see this connect to database in our console. If there is any error or connectivity issue, then we'll see this database connection failed along with the error. All right, now let's export this SQL and our pool promise. So module dot exports. So the first will be our SQL and the second will be our pool promise. All right, save. So we are done with our db.js. All right, save. Now let's try to run this file. So node, sorry, not this one. Let's create a new file. So I have updated my password and I have closed this .env file. Now the next step is, let's create a new file called servers.js. All right, and within this file we'll create our actual APIs. All right, so the first thing, we have to import some libraries. So const express is equal to require express. So we if you remember, we have added this express library, and similarly we have to import our body parser. So body parser require body parser, const cost is equal to require course, and we also need to import this file here. I mean, we need to uh, get this SQL and pool promise in our servers dot file. So here const require dot db.js, sorry, equal db.js, and here we can get SQL and pool promise, say, because these two variables are here. Okay, so the pool promise and SQL. So our import statements are done. Now create app. So const app is equal to express, and app dot use body parser dot json, and app dot use cars. All right, save. Now let's create a default port. So const port is equal to process dot env dot port or 5000. By default it will run on our 5000, and app dot listen. So we are enabling this port to listen our request. So port console dot log server is running on, or let me give the dynamic port number also, port. All right, so our server.js is ready. So here we have to write our APIs. All right, but before that, let's try to execute this servers.js. Let's see if we are able to connect with our database or not. So here node servers.js. So if I execute, we'll see. Okay, server is running on 5000. Okay, we don't need this one. Save. And it also see connected to database. If you see here, connected to database, I mean we are able to connect our database. All right, now let's try to create our first API. Let me also see get all employee records. Okay, now so app dot get. So this will be a get API, and before that, okay, I'll do it later. So our route will be slash API slash employees, and this will be a sync method here. So in this async, we have to pass our request and response. So let's give try catch and here. So the first we have to create our connection pool object. So const pool is equal to await pool promise. So basically this will get the pool promise instance. After that, const, if you see, it is giving the entire intelligence. So const result is equal to select star from employees, but in our case it is not employees, so it is dummy employees. Let me save this. So pool dot, it is not pool dot query, it is basically pool dot request dot query, and here you have to write your entire select command with your actual database, oh sorry, table name. So let me also log it. So console dot log result, and so now response dot status, this res stands for response, and if we have the data, so then response dot status is 200 dot json, and within this json let's return let's say success true, and emp data as result dot record set. Where is your record set? Perfect. And in case of any error, so first of all let's console dot log error, error, and let's give this error and copy this one, paste, and response dot status as 500, or whatever error status code you want, you can give it here. Success false, and let me give message server error, try again, and error is error dot message. Save. So our get API is ready. So, but the problem is we don't have any record in this dummy employees. But let me quickly add one dummy record. So insert into, and if I okay, insert into dummy employees, mark mobile number, department, let's say IT, and salary, okay, whatever it is, and quickly add one more, David, 85858596, sales 50, execute. Oops, I missed the comma, and here values, execute. So we have two records. All right, now let's go back to our VS Code. So our Node API is running, and if I go my browser, and if I type localhost colon 5000 slash employees, so cannot get, okay, let's inspect, we'll see. Go to the network tab, refresh. Go to console. So it says, okay, let me see what will be the route. API employees, API employees. The route is, I guess I have to restart this one. That's the problem. Yeah, node servers.js. Yeah, server is running on 5000 connected to database. And if I again execute, pool.request.query is not a function. Oops, sorry, this is a function. Save, and again let's rerun the server. Node server, it's running. Again refresh. Perfect. So we are able to see the entire object containing two properties. One is success, which is true, and another one is employee data. And we are getting entire data within this array. All right. So our first API is ready. Perfect. Now let's create the another API. Go back to our VS Code. Let me quickly copy. Sorry, this is get all. It all employees records. I think my keyboard is not working properly. Let me quickly copy this, paste, and get employee by ID. So here, after this employees slash colon ID, because we will pass one ID, and within this try we have to get this ID from our parameters. So how we can get it? So const ID is equal to request dot params. So it will automatically fetch this ID from our query string. So basically this is nothing but the query string in this particular URL. All right. So once we get the ID, and here let's make this ID is a proper ID, like it should not be any any alphabet. So how we can create that one? So if is nan ID, then return response dot status 400 dot JSON success false message invalid ID. Perfect. But if it is valid ID, then we have to get this pool which we have already got, and the result select star from employees. So here we have to add our employee, and we have to change this request little bit. So come here, await pool dot request, and after this request let me simplify this. So pool dot request and dot input. So here we have to give our uh, property name. So in our case, what is the exact property? I mean the exact field, employee ID. So let's copy this, employee ID, and sorry, employee ID. SQL dot, we have to give the data type. So in our case it is integer type. So SQL dot int, and it is coming as ID. So our input is ready. Sorry, we don't need any comma. So request dot input, within that we have employee ID and the data type and the ID dot query. So select star from dummy employees, where employee employee ID is equal to at the rate, let me copy this, employee ID. All right, save. Now we need to also check, if you remember your .NET code. So once we fill any data table, so we need to check the number of rows. Okay, so based on that we return success and false, and the results are to the end user. So same here, we have to check if result dot record set dot length is equal 0, means there is no data. Then let me copy this one, paste it here. Let's say 404 success false, employee details not found. All right, but if we have some records in this uh, result set, then let's return the actual data. So success true, and here, so it will be a list, so we need to return the first record will be of that particular employee based on this ID. All right, in the catch we don't need to do anything. So save this. Now let's restart our server and we'll try to see this get by ID API. So node server.js. Okay, server is running. Let's go to our this one. Let me duplicate /1. Okay, so it is returning the employee 1 data. If I change it to 2, so it will give 2. If I give any random ID which is not available in the database, so it says employee details not found. Perfect. So our this get by ID API is also working. Okay, now let's add another API for add new employee. So add new employee. So app dot, so this will be our post API. All right, so app dot post API slash employees. So this will be our base URL, and async request response try catch. So first we have to get the values of employee name, mobile number, and other fields from our request body. So const equal request dot body. So come here and we will get these details. So the employee name, mobile number, because the same data we will pass from our UI, department, and the last one is salary. So once we have these details, then if you want you can also add validation. Let's say if you want to make all them mandatory, so from your backend you can also add the validation on your front end, but if you want you can also add here. Let's say if is not employee name or is not mobile number or is not department or is not salary. So means if anything is empty, then return. Let me copy this one and change all fields are required. Save. But if this validation is crossed, means we have everything in these respected uh, variables, then again we have to create a pool Let me copy this pool from here. So we have created a pool, and then pool dot request, and after that dot input. So in that we have to pass the same thing. Let's copy from here, copy input. So the first thing is employee name, employee number, sorry, mobile number, department, and salary. So employee, this will be our SQL.varchar, and here use the same mobile number. This will also varchar, and this will also varchar. Department, salary is our decimal, so SQL.decimal salary. So we have passed all our four input parameters, and we have given the respective data type with the actual property name. Now dot query, so here we have to change our query. So insert into dummy employees, and here employee name, mobile number, department, salary, values, and here let's copy these and paste it here, and add at the rate with every particular field. Let me see if I have closed this one. Yeah, this is closed. Yeah. So we are done with our query also. Now after this query, let's return the response. So response dot status 200 dot JSON. So here we can also return the number of rows of whatever has been inserted in the database. So in that case, there will be a one single row which got inserted. So we can say result dot rows affected. All right. So in our case, it will return one. We'll see how it will return. So save, and in the catch, let's copy simple one, 500, and error dot message. All right, so we are done with our, what is the problem? Mm, okay, save. So our post API is also ready. So to test it, let's open the postman, and before that, let's run it. So Control C, we have to rerun it. So server is running, data connected to database. Let's go to our posts. I have already created these APIs. So if you see the body, let me add some different name, Virat Kohli. And if you also see our SQL table, so we have these two records. All right, let me comment this. Otherwise, by mistake, I can again re-execute both of them. So as of now, we have two records. So Virat Kohli 745896, this one. Department, let's say PCCI. salary. So send. So this will add a new employee. So if you see 200 status code, which means it is successful. And how many number of rows affected? One. Okay, so if you go here, get all employees, so now we have 3 employees. The another one is just added, the Virat Kohli. All right, and here if you also see the postman, let me resend this. So we have employee ID 1, 2, and 3. All right, so our post API is also working fine. Perfect. Now come here. Now the next API is to update the existing one. All right, so let me quickly copy this one because we will add most of the similar stuff. Update existing employee. So this will be our put API. So app.put, and similarly to get by ID, here we need one ID. So based on that ID, we will try to update the employee. And let's go back to here and copy this because we will get the same ID. We need to extract that ID from our URL. So const ID equal request dot params, and these things we will get from our body. And again, if you want, you can apply this validation. If not, we can remove it. All right, so we have promise, we have request, employee name, and here we have to add ID also. So employee ID, and this will be a int type and ID. Save. Employee name, number, department, salary. All right, and here we have to change our command. So instead of insert, we should use update dummy employees. Employee name is equal to, from where it will come, this one. So control X. So employee name is equal to employee name, sorry, at the rate employee name, mobile number, mobile number, department equal department, salary is equal to at the rate salary. And we also need to provide the where statement. So salary where employee ID equal at the rate employee ID. All right, and close the bracket. Done. So similarly, here also we will return the number of rows affected, and in case of error, we will see this response dot status 500. So save. Let's rerun the server. It's running. Go back to our postman. So we have a put. So if you see, so this is our first employee. Let me copy this particular record and let's go paste. What is the ID of this? ID 1. Okay, so we have 1 1. All right, so here Mark Warner, mobile number 87878787, and Australia cricket. Done. So this is these details will be updated. If you see, as of now, let me open, not here, Let's go to the SQL. Select start from employees. So this is our existing details. Let's click on send. So incorrect syntax near employee name. Okay, we need to see something wrong with employee. Oh, sorry, I forgot to add set. Save. Some type of mistake. Save. Let's rerun the node server. Perfect. Now click on send. Perfect. So we got 1 as number of rows affected. Now again, if I go back to SQL and execute this command, so the details have been updated. Similarly, if you try to get all the employees, you will get the updated details. Similarly here, get by ID. If I give ID 1, so we will get the updated record. Perfect. So our update record API is also working. Now the final API which is pending is the delete one. All right, so for delete, let me copy this get by ID because we need a similar kind of code. Delete employee by ID. So API this app dot delete. So the HTTP verb will be delete. Request response. We need ID. Okay, invalid ID, pool promise, request. We need this employee ID also. Let's change the command to delete from dummy employees from employee ID, and we don't need this. So employee 200, and let's return the simple one. Rows affected, and here also dot send. Save. Rerun the server. Okay, it's running. Come here, delete. So we have 3 employees, 1, 2 and 3. So delete 1. Perfect. If I give any random, so it says 0, means nothing is executed at the SQL DB end. And if I check my data, so the first record should be deleted. It will only return 2 and 3. Perfect. So our APIs are ready. All right, so this is very simple and pretty straightforward code. No fancy, no complex code is there. All right, now let's go to our folder. Okay, let's see, this one React project is ready. So open this React project in our VS Code. So open command prompt, code space dot. Maybe you have some different way to open the project in VS Code, but I use this way. Perfect. So this is our brand new project. So this is a welcome page, and these are the default file and folder structure. So here we have to install some packages. So open a new terminal, and here we have to add Axios, Bootstrap, and one different library for notifications called React.js. So npm install Axios, Bootstrap, and React.js. All right, hit enter. Meanwhile, it is running. Let me add a new file. Employee CRUD dot jsx employee CRUD dot jsx. Okay, So our packages has been added. Let's go to our package.json. So we have Axios, Bootstrap, and React Hostify. All right, go back to here. First import React, and we will use state and use effect from React. Import Axios from Axios, and import from React Toastify, and here we need toast and toast container, and we also need to import this CSS, and if you want you can also import Bootstrap test-css and bootstrap dot min dot css. Save. So I am done with our import statements. Now let's create a component. So employee CRUD. So I'm creating arrow function. Export default employee CRUD. All right. So first, to get all employees, we should create a array. So let's create a state. So employees, set employees, use state, sorry, array. So this will hold the entire list of employees, whatever we will get from our API. Another one is const employee, set employee, use state, employee name. Let me quickly copy from here, mobile number, department, salary. So this is the default object for a new employee. All right. After that, let's add a flag, const editing, set editing, and this will be a boolean type. Use state. By default it will be false, and we also need ID. So const ID, set ID. Instead of ID, let's make it employee ID. Set employee ID, and not 0. Let's make it null. All right. Now let's make our const API URL, the base URL is equal to, go to our browser. Let me copy this, paste within this. So till here. So this is our base URL. Now the first thing is, what we need to do is we need to get this data. All right, this is our first thing. So for that we'll use effect, and simply we can say, okay, fetch employees. So let's create a new function fetch employees, try catch console dot log error. Here const response is equal to await axios dot get API URL, and that also console dot log response. And once we get the response, so set employees. So we are set employees response dot data dot what is the variable, okay, employee data. So employee data dot employee, sorry, response dot data dot emp data. All right, so let's save. Okay, so our fetch employees is ready. Now we need to add return. All right, let's add return statements also. Return container, let's give some top margin div, and let's give a heading employee CRUD tutorial. Let's align the code, save. Some alignment is not valid. Oops, I need to close this one. Yeah. So after this heading, let me add a table. So first let's see how data is getting displayed on table. So table hyphen bordered t head tr employee name, mobile number, department, salary, and let's make key as, sorry, not for this key, for in the body we'll make, and let's also add actions for our buttons. So after t hat, let's add t body, and here employees dot map. So employees dot map emp, and here let's create, in our case this will not the id, this will be employee id. So within this tr, let's create td emp dot employee employee name, copy this one, mobile number, department, salary, and last one is for our actions. So simply add button, class name, btn warning, also add some margin, and data. So based on click on, when we click on this one, we will open our model. So I'm adding this attribute as data, bs toggle as model, and data even bs target. So we'll add a model also. So employee model, and we will add this on click event later. Add it. All right. Let me quickly copy this same. Let me comment this house. We'll add this on click event later. So this will be our delete button, and change the class as danger. And for that we don't need any margin, and this will not open anything. So let's line the code, save. Okay, let's run this npm start. So hopefully we'll see uh, this these details. So meanwhile it is running, let me quickly add these two methods. So const added employee, this will be a async method, and this will take employee id as input parameter. Similarly delete employee, this will also take, okay, let me give different variable as id. Okay, and coming back here, so we can add on click events now. So let me enable. So on click, so added employee, and here we have to pass this employee. Similarly for on delete employee, we have to pass employee id. Perfect. It is still taking some time. It's running. Okay, I forgot one thing. We need to go app.js, and within this app.js, let's add our employee module, the component, save. So hopefully we'll see our table within this. This is still taking some time. Let's go back to VS Code in employee CRUD, and this in added employee. Let's try to consume our get by ID API. So const, let's copy this So instead of this API URL, we need to append this employee ID. So use this backticks. So API URL slash again dollar sign and employee ID. So once we have this response, so instead of this set employees, we have to use this set employee. Save. And let's also use this set selected employee and copy this. And from this employee data, let's go and copy this employee ID. Dot employee ID. Save. Okay, data is not coming. Oh, basically this is set employees, not employee. Perfect. So our data is coming. I mean, our get APIs is working fine. Now let's try to create the delete API, and then we'll create the add and update. So here on this delete employee, we will create our delete API. First, let's add one confirmation. If window dot confirm sure to delete this record, then try wait axios dot delete. Again, we have to append our uh, employee ID with our main API. So API URL slash dollar and our ID, and toast dot success. And after that, let's call our fetch employees, and in catch error toast dot error error save. But before that, we need to include our toast container save. Refresh. So delete, are you sure to delete? Okay, employee deleted successfully. Perfect. And if you see our table also, so employee deleted successfully. Perfect. And now let's go to here. Let me collapse this one. Now we have to add one model. So model we will use to add an update. But before model, let's create one button before this one. Toast container. So add button, class name btn primary, margin bottom 2, add new employee, and here let me copy these two properties. So data toggle is model and data target is employee model. Perfect. Add new employee, and on this click on click we will make set editing as false again. Save. Now after this data, after this table, let's add code for model code. Dev class name model fade, id is employee model, tab index it's -1, area labeled by employee model label, and area hidden true. So within this, let's add another div, sorry, model dialog first. Within this model dialog, we need to add model content. So div class name model content, and within this model content, we need to add another div, the class name model header. Let me copy this div, paste. So this will be your model body, and this will be your model footer. So within this header, let's add a heading, employee details. All right, IntelliSense is helping so much. And employee details, and let's based on this editing property, editing state, we can display the dynamic header, the caption. So editing if editing is true, then edit employee. If it is false, add employee. Let's give within this, we don't need this. All right, and after this, let's add a button to cross that, to close this pop-up. So model type also equal to button, class name btn close, data hyphen bs dismiss is equal to model, and area label is close. Save. So this is our heading and this is our close button. So our model header is ready. Now within the model body, we need to create some input fields. So input type text name, employee name, placeholder, and name, and class name, form control mb3, value is employee name. So we have a employee object also, if you remember this one. and on change we'll give a general handle input change. So input change. Let's copy this, paste 4 times. So this is one, another one is mobile number, enter mobile number, employee.mobile number, done. Third one is department, department, enter department. Fourth one is our salary, salary, name salary, enter salary, change. Done. We are done with our name, mobile number, department, and salary. Perfect. Now within the footer, we have to create some buttons. Button. So type button. This is the class model. Perfect. So this is for close button. Btn secondary. Okay. So button type save changes button. So our model is also ready. So if you see, we have some errors. So let's quickly remove all of them. So first we have, if you see here, handle input change. So first we have to create this handle input change. So let's go back here. So const handle input. Let me copy the exact name. Handle input change. It will take the event of that particular field, whatever it is targeting. So we are using this event, we can extract the name and value. And if you see set employee, set employees means basically it will take the entire employee, and whatever field we are updating, it will update that particular field within this object. Let's say we are updating name, so it will take the entire employee, and within this employee it will only update the name. When we try to update salary, so it will take the entire employee and update the salary within this. All right, so that's it, name and value. And after that we also need to create the save method. So let's copy, I mean let's change it to handle add and update. So this will give more meaningful name. Save, come here. So const, this will be a sync method. Try catch console.log error. So within this try first, so based on this editing, so if you see here, based on this editing, we will get to know, okay, which operation we are going to manage. All right, so if this editing is true, then we will make it we will consider this as we are going to update. All right, so if you see edit employee, set employee data, and after this we have to enable that set editing as true, because whenever we click on the edit button within the table, so meaning we are going to add that particular record. All right, so here within this if editing, if editing is true, else. If editing is true, then axios dot put backticks dollar API URL slash dollar selected employee ID. What is the name? Sorry, employee ID, employee ID, and the object, which is employee, because we have already set the data within this added employee. So employee and toast dot success employee updated successfully. In the else part, let's copy this. So instead of put, we will use post. Sorry, axios dot post, and we don't need this in the URL, and we also don't need this. So API URL and employee added successfully, and after that, after these two operations, whether it is update or added, sorry, post, we need to fetch our employees, and also make set editing as false, and let's copy this thing here, set employees, set employee as blank, save. In the else part, we have given console.log error. Perfect. Okay, on click something is wrong, button, oops, this should be placed here. Okay, click on this button, it's employee ID, so David Warner, any number, Australian cricket team, save, employee added. Let's try to add it. Click on add it, David Warner. You can see the details are auto filled. Let's add it. Okay, something is wrong. Click on inspect, go to console, Axios error. Okay, no problem. Click on add it again, save. Okay, employee ID valid number. Okay, employee ID, let's see what is going. Employee ID. Okay, if you see here in this URL, it is the employee ID is not proper binded. So go here in the update one, employee ID. Okay, sorry, we also need to set it here, set employee ID. So if we again click on add it, let's add this one. So click on this save. Perfect. If you see employee added, details have been changed. And if you see inspect this particular API call, so you see this is the URL and this is the payload and this is the response, the number of rows affected. All right. So this comes to an end of this video. So I hope you are able to create the Node API using SQL Server, and you are also able to create the complete CRUD operations using that Axios and a Node API backend in React.js. All right. So if you still have any problem at any point, like on creating Node APIs, using any SQL connection or any CRUD operation for this React.js, you can reach out to me on my contact details. If you want, you can connect with me on my WhatsApp number. I have given my WhatsApp number in my channel description. And you can also want to connect on Instagram, so you can connect with on Instagram. My Insta handle is there on my YouTube channel. And if you want, you can also comment on this video so that I can uh, see your comment and try to help. And other than that, if you are working in any company, or if you are doing any internship, or you are working on your college assignment, and you are working on, let's say, .NET, React, Angular, SQL, MySQL, um, so MVC, .NET Core, .NET Core Web API, and if you are facing any uh, difficulty or challenges, so you can take my technical help. So I do provide technical help. So you can again connect with me on my connect points. So this is about today's video. I hope you like it. If you did so, hit the like button, share and comment. And if you are new to my channel, so please do subscribe. I need your help and support. So I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye bye.